Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode on this podcast slash YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Oh my God, y'all. It being over a week feels long for the consistent queen. Been a little busy. Check out my Instagram if you want to see some stuff I've been up to and my TikTok. But let's jump right on into this week's episode. This topic is inspired by this thing I saw on Instagram. I'm gonna put it in the video so you can see it in all its full detail. But as you know, a lot of my content comes from my life, my thoughts, my feelings, stuff I've learned. But I love this lady that I just recently followed who put words to like things I'm feeling, which is what I hope to do with my YouTube videos. So she had this slideshow and it was along the lines of like trope slash like men that women should avoid, like the types of people, situations women should avoid when it comes to dating. And I swiped through like the third one, hit it on the nail. And she was like, the man who's a fan of you trope. Pause. Okay, I ain't famous. I almost at 2K subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Been making videos for a while. Different platforms have different analytics if you've seen my other pages. But she literally broke down how she's like, this doesn't mean that you have clout or like you're the most famous girl in the world. Like a man being a fan of you, having this perception of you and what you're supposed to be like can be from just you having a regular social media page. If you're like me and you post videos and talking, or if you're not and like you have a regular page but you seem more mysterious, your perception is up to what people think. Or, even in dating, when people are like, I miss the days when like we would be put on by our friends, like, oh, your friend would know someone and then you guys would start dating. People can even have a perception of you for that, friends to lovers trope, or someone knows you and you start dating them, where they can think and they hear all these things about you and they've been around you, but not in the close proximity that, you are when you're dating someone. And people basically already have this idea of what you're like and what you should be and what you will be like in something as close, as intimate as a romantic relationship. And when I tell you that one hit it on the nail, I mean, hit it on the nail, because I have felt like that in so many relationships. I think I've touched on this before, but again, she really put words to this trope that I think I am constantly running into. And it feels so suffocating. Like I said, I can relate, especially in a sense as a girl, baby, even before I had a following on some things and people was actually checking for my videos. I've been a yapper, babe. I literally was thinking about making a reel about this the other day. Guys, I was the girl like in high school that had that long ass Snapchat story that only the real ones, only the real ones were able to go through. Because y'all know on Snapchat, what was it, up to 1 minute? Like I would make rants about y'all be talking about the 2020 switch. Little Alicia was baby Malcolm X since she came out the womb. Okay. I literally remember being in high school making like a 5 minute rant about Kaepernick and why people are tripping if they find something. Like I've been that girl who's been openly opinionated. And so even now with my videos, I actually reach people on TikTok, on Instagram. I've had a few viral moments of sharing my opinions, and that comes with a lot of different stuff. But if you guys know the vibes of my page, because I actually talk, right? I feel like from a general consensus, and it's also weird because like my short form and my long form can both have different vibes. I think I'm definitely a little more aggressive in my short form content than my long form. My long form is more like conformed thoughts in my notes, and short form is I pick up and I rant, but I'm opinionated. I think I'm funny. I think I try to be a balanced, healed human being and, take accountability and encourage other people to take accountability and explore different nuances and stuff. And that might be the same vibe you get from my YouTube, depending on if you watch my podcast episodes, my story times, or both. But, some other people might not feel the same way. about an opinionated black woman for. But anyway, regardless of what people get, like I'm funny, you think my opinions are right, wrong, whatever, it's people's perception. Different people can perceive me in different types of ways. You know what I'm saying? But I meet men a lot online. Whether you guys have seen my insane dating app story times. Nah, most of them aren't even from dating apps, or just men have found me through Instagram and TikTok the past couple of years. I've had one of my serious relationships started from someone finding me on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And so what that lady said hit it on the nail. I have seen in real time the switch of men being like, oh, you know, obviously, even if it's someone I didn't meet through social media, they're going to follow my social media. And I've never been those people that's like, oh, I don't want them to see. Baby, you going to see everything. I don't care, right? Like, I'm not into like that hiding, or I don't want to. So regardless if I don't meet people on social media, they get my social media, they can have this idea about me. I think a lot of people follow me because they think I'm funny, good vibes, like I said, opinionated, whatever. But I also have a million other sides because I'm a human being. Like the thing said, it's like sometimes this fan perspective in dating or people can cause such a weird perception of you, as if we're not all people on social media. Some people might share more than others. But yeah, like y'all hear, like I said again, my YouTube is where it gets deep and where I think my thoughts are more formulated. So some other people might understand this about me, but regardless, if you don't know me in real life, obviously you won't know everything about me. But yes, do I do my best to try to make people laugh, be accountable, be opinionated, stick up for other marginalized communities. But like I see how y'all treat celebrities and a lot of like humanitarian celebrities so parasocially too, how I feel like with people on the internet, and even though she said this trope is for women to avoid, I definitely think anyone can relate to this, of people just having weird perceptions and fantasies of what people should be. It's like when people have a moment where it's like, oh, you didn't react to that in a very healed, you know, taking everything into consideration perspective. Whoa, like she said something that seems like she's a little sad or angry. I'm not even going to say angry because, like I said, I have no problem being aggressive when people are being bigots. But people forget, like as corny as it sounds, and people say that people are human. No matter how funny, put together, like, oh, so healed and progressive people seem, just like the people in your real life who you see put that face on when they go to work, when they're in outings, or even for you, like whether you see those sides or not, you see we all have it. Like you guys see how terrible mental health is, like especially right in my age range, like early 20s. So it's just like, it's felt so suffocating to me to experience that so much in dating, where it's like, oh, she's so funny and, you know, nice if you're the right one and all these things. But like men who have known me online or something, all of a sudden when it's like, oh, I don't agree with that, like, let's talk about this. Or like, I didn't like that, you had me a little messed up and here's why. It's like, oh, like, I forgot there's not just like, she's not just this one dimensional side, you know, like it's like you forget that when you have a connection or relationship to someone, yeah, there's a bunch of sides. It's not happy, funny, energetic. There's anger, sadness, confusion, like all these, like it just, I remember like when I felt like this first started happening to me, I felt like literally insane. Because like I said, again, before I seen posts like this where it put words to what I was feeling, and I realized how so many people feel this, and especially people with gigantic platforms who feel this on a giant level, I'm just like, why does it seem like men treat me like I'm supposed to be like fucking Barbie doll? Like it's literally giving, I just rewatched Barbie recently too. Tears, like it's literally giving like feeling like one of them. Like they're happy all the time, they're successful all the time, And then you've seen like one start showing emotions and they're just like, that's not how that's supposed to go. Whoa, like I didn't sign up for all this. I signed up for the Barbie doll, not the human. That's how it felt. And it always just confused me because how I look at people in general, but especially people I love intimately, which is men, because I'm a straight woman, I'm like, I never look at them like that. I'm like, I expect them to be upset with me sometimes. I expect them to get depressed and down. I expect them to, not always be able to be happy and keep their cool when something frustrates them. I'm like, these are all things I expect. Like, even in a talking stage, I've never been that girl that's like, why is someone dumping on me this fast? Like, you know how some people are like that? Like, we're human. Or like, I expect like communication, clarity. You're not gonna have perfect days all the time. So I was like, I expect this and have loved men with this expectation and like realness, honestly, pretty much since I started dating. I mean, maybe it was a little shocking in the first relationship because I'd never been in a relationship and I didn't know what to expect, but definitely in my most recent years, so what, 19 through 23, and I'm just like, so why is like these boys' perception of me so different where they are expecting the Barbie doll and not the human, and I'm expecting the human from everyone, no matter like what proximity I'm in. Um, and I think this alludes to like also the saying that like, you can't expect people who are honest with themselves to be honest with you. Like people only have the capacity as to how much they've like woken it up themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? If someone doesn't give themselves the grace to admit that they're not having a good day, or those people who, what's wrong with you? Nothing, nothing, nothing. It's like if someone doesn't even have the capacity to give themselves their own emotional intelligence and let themselves have it sometimes, I'm like, why would I expect that from them? And that's a problem. And I feel like that's a huge problem, like in this generation of dating. Like people whine and all the time about like, I just want something real, something where we could really be there for each other and stuff like that. And I feel like 80% of the people who say that, no, you don't. Because you're just like the people I date, where you say, I'm so tired. I want an honest girl. I want communication. I just want her to tell me when something's wrong. And then when that happens, it breaks down this whole fantasy or expectation that you have. So you want that, but then some men also still want to live in that patriarchal mindset of like, it always ties back to the misogyny on this page, y'all know, of like, girls are supposed to be the nurturers, the motherers, they take in all your emotions and coddle you, and they're the emotional creatures, and I don't have to do that. That's their thing. So you want honesty, you want clarity, you want that real raw, but then sometimes you still revert back to this mindset. No, you don't. And like I said, this isn't just subject to men. A lot of girls are like this too. You know what I'm saying? Like if I want this and that, but then you don't move like it. I even saw a hot take when you see someone get cooked for an opinion, you low-key. A hot take where someone was like, people who date people with full-blown rosters should not be complaining about like not finding genuine love and stuff. Because hot take, I mean, if you are not looking for something genuine, you're dating around, you like the options, you're not, fine. I'm not shitting on people who like, that's their thing. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for fun. Like, and you're clear and honest with the other person. But people who swear like, I want something real. I just want something real raw. If you're not even willing to focus on one person, how do you want something like you're moving from a safety net. I literally remember, y'all. Oh my God. I have a story time on this. I forgot what it's called, but I'll plug it. I literally remember talking to a guy like that before who was like, I'm scared to just date one person because if I drop someone and then it doesn't work out, blah, blah, blah. I hate to break it to you. One, that's not going to work with me. But also, that's what finding what's for you, and especially in love, That's almost what it is. You're going to have to take risks. Yes, you're going to have to take risks. Getting close to people, being vulnerable is a risk. I'm sorry. If you ain't ready for that, like I said, look for fun and keep your little. But people are like, oh, I just want something real. I just want to focus on one person. No, you don't. If you're still doing like the whole roster culture. Hey, this literally just made me think of a situation I had before, y'all. Like, I remember I thought me and this guy were getting along like super well. You know, he had so many traits that aligned with me. He was super attractive. Communication was great. It was like all these things. And then I remember like what caused us to stop talking is something that I feel like happens a lot. Because again, like, y'all don't know how to date. Like, y'all don't really want something real. Because as soon as it comes to a real conversation, you're like, that's a little much. That's a little much. I forgot you're a human. And this is like how the situation made me feel. I remember there was a difference in opinion, a confusing conversation with this man, right? I'm one of those girls. Don't tell me, oh, we could talk about it later. Talk about it when we wake up, cause whatever, and then don't bring it back up. Especially if you're the one who said that, why are you not making sure that happens the next day? So I remember the next day, he still never said anything. I'm like, so when are we gonna like talk about that? Cause like I have more to say, right? Not even on some like aggressive stuff, but literally, I'm not gonna let something linger. Like, we are going to talk it out. If you're a boy who doesn't like that communication, blah, 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 out, right? And so he was like, oh yeah, let's FaceTime. So I remember like basically, I literally remember I just made a reel about this. Y'all listen to that new Baby Keem album. I remember Birds of the Bees, how he has a lyric about like, I hate a girl asking, what's that? That's me. Question 100 questions, 20 questions, 100 questions. I'm a question asker. I feel like I've said this before, and like people take it different certain ways, especially different cultures. You ask questions for clarity. I'm asking questions to understand, not to be annoying. A lot of men perceive me as like, oh, you're being annoying by asking questions. It feels invasive. I guess it can feel that way depending on my tone or how I go about it, but it's almost like a conversation carries on when you ask questions and follow up to understand what the other person is saying. No? So I remember I was like, basically in the follow-up, I just wanted to ask a few follow-up questions to see where this person was at, like what he meant by his answers. And when I was asking this questions, I remember he was being one of those people where like he wasn't answering the question. He was giving like a long explanation as to blah blah. So it's like, I'll be like, so do you think this part of it was bad? Yes or no? Or do you think this is worse? Yes or no? And he would be like, well, da 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 da. Yeah. Nigga, I said yes or no. Like, literally, I was like, you're still not answering the question. He was like, well, I feel like me answering the question might cause you to have a perception of me, or I feel like answering the question isn't necessary. Just explain it. I'm like, whatever. I remember basically it wasn't really resolved, but this man had to go. After, I remember this man texted me something. At the end of the conversation, he was saying like, yeah, I don't really like this conversation because I don't really like uncomfortable conversations. And I was like, like, I do appreciate you still having it with me and having it with me very calmly and respectfully, even though it's uncomfortable with you. I appreciate that. But I was like, these are like some things I needed answered. And I was honest. I was like, I'm trying to be respectful of you and like getting the conversation over with sooner, because it's uncomfortable for you. But I was like, I also feel like you're not respecting me by not answering the questions I'm asking. Like, you're running around and like, I was like, you're low-key making the conversation longer because you not answering the question and just saying a bunch of bull is confusing me. And I remember like I typed that out, because like I said, I think this man was on break and he had to go back to work or something, but he could still text during work. So that's what I was replying to him. And I also mentioned how I was like, I wasn't trying to ask questions to make it long or make you uncomfortable. I'm genuinely trying to understand your perspective, but like I would appreciate if you also respected like how my brain works by answering the question. And I remember this man replied back and he was like, mind you, the first time we had the conversation the night before, he cut it short because he had to go to sleep for work. The next time again, he had to go, right? And he was like, yeah, honestly, I don't know, like if we should talk, if like we can't have conversations like this because these conversations are really important to me. Nigga, pause. I'm literally like, if we can't have conversations like this. First of all, like I said, both times he ended the conversations because of the timeliness. But before the timeliness even came about, he wanted to stop talking about it because he said, like basically that it made him feel uncomfortable and he like he said he didn't see the point of answering the questions. So before the timeliness, he kept trying to end the conversations. I reply that I'm going to try to accommodate you by like how I go about it, but I was like also this conversation that made you uncomfortable would go by faster if you also respected the way my brain works and answered the questions, which he wasn't doing. And so I'm like, I didn't end or try to end any of these conversations, and you gonna reply, yeah, maybe we just shouldn't talk because these conversations are really important. I need someone who I can talk to about this. You're the one who didn't want to talk about. Oh, this is what I mean, y'all. When I'm like, when men say stuff like that, I literally just remember like he texted a whole bullshit ass paragraph like talking about like, oh yeah, I really need someone who can have hard conversations and productive conversations with me. You were the common denominator who wasn't making it productive. You didn't want to answer questions. You barely want to have a conversation. So the who was leading the conversation, and now you're saying, oh, maybe I don't know if we're the best match because I need someone who can have these conversations. And when you were the one who was running away from the conversation. This is what I'm saying. Y'all be contradicting what you say. Like these Gen Z dating games. Like y'all don't know how to date real bitches. Talking about, oh, I need someone who can have these conversations. And you're the one who's trying to end and not have the conversation. And it don't work like that, baby. Like, it don't work like our parents' generations either, where, like I said, the times of like, oh, we could continue it tomorrow, and you really knowing you weren't gonna bring it up. It don't work like that either. Like how our parents' generation would just never talk about it again and try to cover it up. That also feels very suffocating to me and doesn't work because when we learn from our parents of those past generations, and even like on a worldly level of like issues that people push down, it's always going to come back up, and it's going to come back up angrier and worse. So yeah, like I literally just remember like that example of trying to get to know someone again, even really like kind of, even though it made me irritated and frustrated, and like I said, it makes me feel really suffocated to not feel understood and not feel like people can have conversations like normal human beings. It also like solidified what's true, how it's like you guys aren't you guys for real, and probably not my real ones here, but people really aren't looking for something serious because you run away from any real conversation. Oh, I want something real, I want something deep, I want something raw. You don't want to have a conversation like that as soon as it makes you uncomfortable. You don't want to see human emotions that don't include happy, excited, or calm. It like y'all, like I said, y'all want the Barbie, or like I said, even like understanding that this could be a thing for men too. Like you guys want like a robot. Y'all want that Chat GPT to agree with you all the time. Like no, and like so yeah. I don't know where I was going with this. Do I ever really? But like the post I showed you guys at the beginning, I just hope this is comfort to anybody else who feels like this, because babe, it's not just you. Like these people don't know how to talk to each other, and they're not standing on business with what they say they want. What you want and desire is a lot different than the actions that you're showing. Step up to the plate or get the fuck out. Check that perception. To anybody, check that perception. Whether you heard about someone from someone else, you watch their videos, even in a negative standpoint, how it's like we see celebrities all of a sudden say something or support someone. Or like a lot of times I'm not surprised because baby, I don't know them. You don't know them, how much you like the music, how much, like, just like you don't know me, no matter you listen to my short form and long form content, or you're in my members only now and you hear when I'm talking about even more personal experiences. You don't know me like in real life and everything I'm about, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, stop the parasocial relationships and get rid of that perception. Because I even feel like I had seen this girl talk about this in a podcast I really like too, where a girl said that like a rule in her marriage is like the similar thing. It's to like release perception, release putting your partner on this pedestal of all the great things you see them as, because she was saying it's a very like childhood wound for her. Like she was saying, as a kid, she was like the oldest, always got good grades, always good in sports. So she felt like a lot of pressure from family, friends, and all this to be this great person. And she's like, I don't want that pressure in my intimate relationship. I want to be human. I want my laziest day, my 20% to be just as loved as, you know. And I was like, I relate to that so hard too, because I also felt the same way. Like I was the goody two shoes in school, always got the like pleasure to have in class, you know, always leading the group. I was like captain of my basketball team. I was president of one club, Black Student Union. But yeah, like I felt the same way. Like I feel like my family and people around me have always thought so highly of me. And so naturally, I feel like it kind of comes on social media. And yeah, but also I'm a human. Gotta hear sometimes. You got me up. Like I told you, I'm a lot more aggressive on my short form content too. And the short, like Instagram don't got no filter. So it's fun that sometimes I can clap back as a full Scorpio on there. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I said something that you could take away from. I hope I made you feel heard and seen. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to this channel. Hit that hype button if you're here in the first week. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to check out my Instagram, because I be putting polls of the next content I'm going to tell. And I'm going to be putting a poll up very soon on which story time I should give you guys next. Just like I asked which podcast episode you guys wanted next. And you guys on my Instagram picked this topic. Bye.